Hey, welcome, beautiful, beloved souls, to mainly a commentary channel that deals with anything and everything to do with life and death. I look at things through a lens, hence the name of the channel. And my name is Gem, and I'm a psychic medium, and I am an author. And again, I'm going to plug this. So I offer two different PDFs. Both are tips on different methods. First one's remote viewing, and the second one is channeling. Remote viewing is totally different to channeling. And there's my PayPal and there's my email. So if you just want to know how to remote view itself, it's $1.50 AUD. If you just want to know how to channel the signal within, it's $2. But if you would like to know how to both remote view and to channel, it will cost you $3 Australian. Okay, because as a psychic medium, I can do both. I will just leave this up a little bit longer for you before we get in today's commentary. Okay, welcome again. Appreciate you being here. The psychic risks of Neuralink and the future of human consciousness. What if the next evolution of humanity is also the quiet extinction of something sacred? Not with fire, not with war, but with convenience. A chip, a signal, a faster way to think. And just like that, something ancient inside you goes silent. So here's the question no one is really asking. Is Neuralink building a bridge to the future, or quietly constructing a cage for your soul? Right now, in 2026, high bandwidth brain interfaces are no longer science fiction. They began as miracles, helping people walk again, restoring movement, giving voice to those trapped inside their own bodies. And that part matters. But something has shifted. We're moving from medical necessity to elective enhancement, from healing the broken to upgrading the already whole. And history has a pattern. The movement becomes, or the moment becomes, something optional. It becomes expected. The ghost in the silicon machine. Early adopters, sometimes called linkers, are starting to describe something strange. Not dramatic, not terrifying, subtle. They talk about a thinning of their inner monologue, less wandering thought, fewer daydreams, a kind of mental efficiency. At first, it feels like clarity, but then something else creeps in. Silence, where imagination used to live, because your mind isn't just a processor. It's a wild landscape, messy, chaotic, full of irrational sparks that don't make sense until they do. And when you start introducing constant streams of optimized data, you start replacing the landscape with something else. A system, a feed, a loop. So the question becomes, if your thoughts are always assisted, are they still yours? The neural damper hypothesis, deeper, more philosophical. There's a theory emerging on the fringes, not in labs, not in official papers, but in conversations late at night between people who feel something is off. It's called the neural damper hypothesis. The idea is this, that silicon, when integrated into the brain, doesn't just enhance signal, it filters it, like a kind of internal Faraday cage, not blocking radio waves, but something far more subtle. Intuition, instinct, that strange knowing you can't explain, because human consciousness may not be entirely generated by the brain. It may be received. And if that's true, then what happens when you insert hardware designed to optimize, structure, and prioritize data? You might not just be improving cognition, you might be narrowing the bandwidth of reality itself. Frequency locking. Think about how technology works. It thrives on patterns, binary rhythms, predictability. But nature is chaos. Your intuition doesn't arrive in clean sentences. It flickers, it interrupts, it whispers at inconvenient times. Now, imagine a brain slowly adapting to a digital interface, optimizing itself, tuning itself, until it becomes more compatible with the system than with the world. This is what some call frequency locking, where your mind stops dancing and starts sinking. And once that happens, you may not even notice what you've lost. The death of sovereign intuition. There's a difference between knowing and being told. AI, artificial intelligence, can give you answers instantly. Better decisions, better predictions. But your gut feeling, it's slow, imperfect, deeply human, and it evolved over thousands of years for a reason. Now imagine a world where every choice is assisted. What to say, what to feel, what is right, what is beautiful. At first, it feels like empowerment. But over time, something dangerous forms. Dependency, a quiet erosion of trust in yourself, until one day, without the system, you don't know what to think anymore. Synthetic loops. Now, take it one step further. If your thoughts can be assisted, they can also be influenced, not in obvious ways, but in subtle nudges. Prioritize pathways, suggested conclusions, invisible guardrails. This creates what some describe as synthetic loops, where your thinking feels free but is gently guided, like walking through a maze where every turn was designed before you entered. And here's the chilling part. You won't feel controlled. You'd feel certain. A mirror without a reflection. Philosophical peak. There's already talk of mapping consciousness, uploading memory, preserving identity, creating a digital version of you that can exist beyond the body. But here's the real question. If everything about you can be replicated, is it still you? Or is it a perfect echo? A mirror that looks alive, but has no reflection behind it? Because consciousness might not just be information. It might be something anchored, something connected to a larger field. Call it the collective unconscious. Call it the soul. Call it whatever you want. But if that connection is severed, then what remains may function perfectly while being fundamentally hollow. The ethereal severance. This is where the idea of ethereal severance comes in. The possibility that by digitalizing consciousness, we don't preserve it, we disconnect it, turning something infinite into something contained, something measurable, something owned. And maybe that's the real risk. Not that technology will destroy us, but that it will redefine us into something smaller. Reclaiming the metaphysical essence. But this isn't about fear. It's about awareness, because technology itself isn't the enemy. It's a tool. The real question is, who is it serving? There's a growing call for something called neural sovereignty, the right to remain unaugmented, the right to think without interference, the right to preserve the organic mind, not as resistance, but as balance, because progress without boundaries has a way of consuming the very thing it was meant to improve. Grounding practices. If this future unfolds, we may need new ways to stay connected to what is real. Not digital connection, but internal connection. Silence without input. Time without stimulation. Moments where your thoughts are allowed to wander without correction. Because in those moments, something ancient speaks. And if we lose that, we lose more than imagination. We lose direction. Final call to action. So, here we are, standing at the edge of something extraordinary, a future where the mind can be expanded beyond anything we've known, but also a future where it can be quietly contained. The question isn't whether Neuralink will change humanity. It will. The real question is, will we still recognize ourselves when it does? Because consciousness was never meant to be tamed. It was meant to explore, to question, to wander into the unknown. And maybe, just maybe, the most important thing we protect in the future is not our intelligence, but our wildness. Thank you very much, beautiful, beloved souls, for watching. If you leave a comment, I ask you do respectfully, what do you think of Neuralink? Would you get an enhancement, a Neuralink? I've thought about this myself, and I thought of, those little synthetic things that go and they clean out disease, and that would be really a good thing. But are humans meant to be immortal or mortal? All right, I ask that you be kind. Nanotechnology, that was what I was looking, little nanotechnology. Yeah, I think, if I got nanotechnology to rid myself of disease, I think I would. Let me know in the comments if you would integrate with AI. All right, please be kind to each other. It costs nothing to be kind. And remember, smile at a stranger. You might just save someone's life. And I'm quickly going to show you this again. And as I show you, I'm going to end it saying thank you very much for watching. Please take care of yourselves because you matter. Every one of you are precious. Love, light, and blessings. And if you want also to buy one of my books at a cheaper way, at a PDF, just email me as well. Thanks, guys. Bye.